Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is February 21st, 2025. And today we're going to be discussing Hansi Flick's statements during a press conference and how he absolutely schooled Real Madrid. Also, we now know the price for Rafael Leao. And finally, Barcelona inquired about Mason Greenwood. We have a lot to discuss. So let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and this is this is not a post-match live analysis. This is a Barcelona podcast or the Barca News podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, starting usually at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, we're starting a little bit later because there was some construction going on in my place. So now they're kind of cleaning. There's vacuuming, so it's a little bit loud. I was waiting for the sound to die or the noise to die down. I think we're good. So hopefully you guys can hear me clearly. Now, of course, during these podcasts, we do Barcelona news, but I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments, answering your questions, and getting that discussion going. Oh, here we go. Some more noise. I promise this noise will die down like in a few minutes. But anyways, for those of you who will be watching when the podcast ends, don't worry. I will be putting timestamps in the description and chapters in the timeline in case you do want to skip through the discussion and get straight into the news. Having said all that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If y'all looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to Goal Kids, Skate Bag, or Fanatics. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure to bet us. All links are down below in the description. You click on them, you get access to some pretty cool discounts and offers. All right, let's begin with the podcast because there's a lot of news to cover today. In fact, I'll be doing a video after this. But let's start with the news. And of course, we do have to talk about the big news today because, ladies and gentlemen, we officially know who our opponent will be in the Champions League. Today was the Champions League draw. And this is how the bracket looks like. So we know not only who our opponent is in the round of 16, but we also know the road to the final and what the road could look like to the final in Munich for this Champions League. And Barcelona got Benfica. I know a lot of you wanted to avoid PSG because I think they are doing pretty well in the Champions League. So I think Benfica on paper technically is the easier opponent. And I say easier opponent in quotation because it's not going to be an easy match, right? This is a Champions League. There are no easy opponents, especially in the round of 16, especially in the knockout stages. There are no easy opponents. There are easier opponents, but Benfica is still going to be a difficult opponent, especially after the match that we had during the group stages, because we saw what they were capable of, right? First half, we had a terrible, terrible half. We conceded 3 goals. Now, we did mount one hell of a comeback, a historical comeback in the second half, but we won more with attitude and mental strength rather than actual football. So that's something that hopefully Flick and the players have learned from, and then we can do much better this time around because, again, Benfica caused us a lot of problems, and we cannot repeat that because you're not always going to be able to pull these kind of comebacks. So hopefully the team, Flick, have learned from their first match against Benfica. Hopefully that was kind of like a trial run where you can figure out what to do, what not to do. And now this time around in the round of 16, we can come out, finish them off, and qualify to the quarterfinals. Now, let's look at the bracket because I think we have a good shot at least making it to the semifinal. On paper, again, because in football, anything can happen. You're going to have a nobody team with a budget of $10 beat a giant club with a budget of $1 billion, right? But on paper, I think we have a straight shot to the semifinal, right? We have Benfica. If we defeat Benfica, we would play the winner of Dortmund or Lille, right? I don't think any of those teams are especially difficult. I think we already beat Dortmund. I think we could beat Lille. So out of these 3 teams that we have to, well, we don't have to face all of them. We'll have to face 2 out of these 3. But out of these 3 teams that we would have to get past in order to make it to the semis, I think we can beat all 3 of them. Benfica, Lille, and Dortmund. Now, again, this is on paper because in football, anything can happen. There's always surprises, especially in the Champions League. Doesn't mean that that's it. We could go to sleep and not watch the Champions League, and we're just going to be automatically in the semifinals. Now, in the bottom of the bracket, we do have a little bit tougher matches. Bayern Leverkusen versus Bayern Munich. I think this is going to be a very interesting matchup. I would love to see that. Milan Feyenoord. I think Milan could take this one, and then of course that quarterfinal will be interesting because I think Bayern or Bayer Leverkusen, either one of them, can easily pass to the quarterfinals, and then they would probably face off against Inter Milan. Another interesting quarterfinal, and then the winner of that would face Barcelona in the semifinal. Hopefully it's Bayern. We already beat them once. Maybe we can beat them again and make it to the final. Now, on the other side of the bracket, we have some interesting matchups. We have Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid. We have Spanish derby in round of 16 of the Champions League. I think PSG Liverpool, that's going to be one hell of a match. And even Club Brugge Aston Villa, I think that's going to be a good match too. I think Club Brugge are doing really well in the Champions League. So Aston Villa, I think that would be an interesting matchup. They're at the same level, right? So I think we have a really, really good bracket. And right now, the Champions League is not over, but I have to say, I'm very happy with the new format. When they announced a new format of the Champions League, I had my doubts. I was like, there's more matches now. Like, what the hell? 8 instead of 6 in the group stages. Like, what is going on? I wasn't too sure about it. But I think this new format has been wonderful because, there's a lot more variety, right? When it was group stages, you only played against 3 opponents. In this group stages, we played against 8 opponents. That's already more than what you would usually play in a full Champions League, right? Because in a full Champions League, if you went from group stages in the previous format, from group stages all the way to the final, you faced off against maximum 7 different opponents. We already faced off against 8 different opponents in the just in the group stages. That's not even counting all the opponents we're going to have to face through the knockout stages. So right there, a bigger variety of matches and bigger variety of opponents. Second point why I like this new format is it was incredibly unpredictable. In the old format, usually by match day 5, the groups were settled. You already knew who was first and second, and you knew who was going home. Maybe there was one group who would go all the way until the final day, but mostly you knew who was going through and who's not. This time around, we didn't know until the final match day, until fixture number 8. Now, of course, we had a few teams like Barca and Liverpool who are already through, but for the most of it, we did not know who was going to qualify to the round of 16 automatically and who's going to have to play the playoffs. So I think it was very unpredictable as opposed to previous versions of the Champions League. And then third, look at the variety of teams we've got. If we make this big again, that's how you make it bigger. That's how you make it smaller. But if we pull out the bracket, we have 3 English teams, 3 Spanish teams, 2 French teams, 2 German teams, an Italian team, someone from Belgium, someone from Netherlands, someone from Portugal. We have the top 4 leagues plus 3 others, Portugal, Netherlands, and Belgium. We have a really good variety of clubs in the knockout stages. So I really, really like this new format of Champions League. I do want to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions about this new format of the Champions League, but I think for me, it's been very, very wonderful. Now, Deco, after the sporting director, Deco, after they announced this result, this is what he had some statements to make, and this is what he had to say about the bracket and about Barcelona getting Benfica. But Deco said they are an opponent who have done a lot to deserve to be there. We have experience of playing against them. It was a game we won, but the first half was very difficult for us. We know that there is no room for error in a Champions League tie. They are an opponent we respect a lot. It's a tie that we know that we will have to do very well to get through. The path we are on this season is a very good one. We must believe in ourselves, that we have a good team and a good staff who are working very well. And now, and how that the really important part of the season is starting, we must continue in this vein. So Deco, again, highlighting something I just said. Yes, technically on paper, Benfica are an easier opponent than PSG. But again, this is a Champions League. There's no such thing as easy opponents, especially in the knockout stages. And let's not forget all the damage that Benfica did to us during the match against them. So we still have to be cautious. On paper, yes, we have an easier route. But again, this is the Champions League. Surprises happen all the time. So the team needs to be 100% focused. They need to come out for every match like it's a final and be on top of their game if they want to, make it far into the Champions League. Now, I am curious to hear you guys' thoughts. What do you think about Barcelona getting Benfica? So let me know in the chat section, or if you're watching this when it ends, let me know in the comment section. And then the final thing I will say about this, look at this fuckery. I know I just started the podcast. I'm already cursing, but look at this fuckery. Today, after the Champions League draw, La Liga announced a change of fixtures. And this is the change. Barcelona were due to play on a Sunday, fixture number 26. Sorry, on a Saturday. No, on a Sunday. And Real Madrid. Sorry, no. Barcelona were set to play on a Saturday. And Real Madrid were set to play on a Sunday. And La Liga decided to switch it. That way, Real Madrid can have an extra day of rest ahead of their Champions League match with Atletico de Madrid. And Barcelona now have one less day of rest ahead of their Champions League match against Benfica. But you still have people who come here and they're like, oh, Barcelona get Negrita, Barcelona get favored by the refs. Yeah, you look at this and tell me how much Barcelona get favored by the refs. Anyways, let's do the comment section, and then we will talk about Hansi Flick's statements and how he schooled the pathetic club called Real Madrid. Not the Gamer says, yo, Mo, I have to say Nico Gonzalez was very lazy when he played versus Madrid. He only scored off a deflected free kick, committed so many fouls too. Interesting. Wait, did the Real Madrid play against Porto? I didn't watch that match. I don't watch Madrid matches, but I will take your word for it, my friend. And Not the Gamer also says, have you heard of Elias Moriba's comments about regretting his transfer away from Barca? If you could be a male gold digger, you would be him. Yeah, I did see those statements, and honestly, I'm not surprised that has happened. I mean, that is the oldest story in the book, right? You have a youngster coming up through the academy. They're very promising, very talented, lots of potential. The club says, hey, look, we have a plan for you. This is what the plan is in order to develop you and turn you into a star. It's going to take some time, but, becoming a star takes some time. And then they're like in a hurry, right? Other clubs come like saying, no, just come here. We'll offer you a lot of money and we'll offer you like a starting spot on our first team. And they go for it, right? Because they don't have the patience to go through the plan that Barcelona has developed for them. And instead, they're in a hurry to make the big bucks and to have a starting role at another team. So they end up leaving. And then they realize that they made a huge mistake because it takes time to develop. It takes time to become, a high-level footballer. Not everybody's Lamine Yamal or Pau Cubarsí. Not everybody can just step into the first team and automatically become a star. Most players, it takes some time to develop. And Barcelona know that, being that they have the best academy in the world. They know that it takes time. They know what it takes to develop a player. So they come up with these plans to develop these players into the stars that they can become. But these players are like, no, I know I can just make it. And then they go to another team and find out they can't, that it does take time. And here's the thing. The teams that they go to, they don't have the patience to develop them because, why? Because they paid for them. If you go and pay 10, 15, 20, 30 million euros for a young player, you got to expect and demand that this player is going to show up and from day one start performing. Why? Because you paid money, right? You want returns on your investment. Barcelona, on the other hand, when they have these youngsters coming up to the academy, they didn't spend any money on them, so they can take their time to develop them. And that's what these players don't understand. And Elias Moriba is just yet another example out of the thousands of examples of players who learned this the hard way. Players who refused to follow the club's plan, instead went somewhere else, thinking that they could just make it right away. And they found out that they should have just stuck with the plan because not everybody is Lamine Yamal and not everybody can just step into a elite football team and just be a star overnight. All right, let's see. Let's do more comments. Rick says, competitively easy route to the semis this year. Again, easier, but not easy. There's no such thing as easy in the Champions League. Every match is going to be very difficult. Every match is going to be very hard fought. Is it easier than another possible route? Sure. But that doesn't mean that that's it. We go to sleep and then we're just going to wake up in the semifinals. It's still a long road. So a very difficult road. So hopefully, the players don't go into this overconfident thinking, oh, we got an easy route. Fuck it. We're just going to smoke cigarettes with Chesney and go partying with, I don't know, with Neymar. Maybe he flies in overnight to Barca. Victor Benny says, thanks, Mo, for all your well-detailed Barca news. No, thank you, my friend, for watching the channel. As I always say, without you guys, I'll be just some crazy guy screaming in my camera. So thank you for watching, and thank all of you who are currently watching. And also thank you for your comment. And let's do one more, and then we will talk about Hansi Flick's statements. MP7 Lou says, by mistake, now we can correct our mistakes. Amen. Amen. Hopefully, again, maybe it's a good thing that we faced Benfica in the group stages, and maybe it's a good thing that it went, terribly during the first half, because now, hopefully Flick can look at that match, learn as much as possible, and, get all those mistakes out of the way, get everything out of the way, and then we can come back against Benfica knowing exactly what to do because we already played against them. So hopefully that's the case, and hopefully we can, eliminate them and move on to the quarterfinals. All right, let's get back to the news because we do have to talk about Hansi Flick's statements, because today during a pre-match press conference, by the way, there's a match this weekend. Everybody forgot about it because we were all too busy being excited about the Champions League and the draw. But there is a match this weekend against Las Palmas. Of course, we lost against Las Palmas during the first half of the season, so we have some, vindication to do over this weekend against Las Palmas. And of course, we cannot drop points right now. We're tied with Real Madrid on points. Yes, we're first, but we're tied, so we need to get this win. And of course, in a pre-match press conference, Hansi Flick was asked about all kinds of things, including the Champions League. And one thing he brought up was what's going on with the referees. Now, if you haven't been paying attention, if you haven't been seeing the videos, there's been a lot going on since Jose Luis Munuera Montero, the referee, showed the red card to Jude Bellingham. Ever since, he has faced a lot of heavy backlash. There's been a complete social media campaign against them, perpetrated by Real Madrid and its media machinery, including a picture that they posted where they went to his house, and there was this old La Liga sign, which had all these players on it from La Liga, including Messi, because at the time Messi was playing La Liga. And what they did was they zoomed in, they cropped all the other players, and they just kept Messi. And they posted on social media, and they're like, look, Munuera is a Barcelona fan. Look, he has a Messi banner outside. It's like totally crazy what Real Madrid has been doing to this ref for daring to make the right call against them. It's not like he made a mistake and that red card should have been red. No, that red card was 100% red card. Bellingham told him to fuck off. He deserved the red card. But anyways, not only has there been a social media campaign against Munuera, he has been suspended. He's not going to be reffing any matches this weekend. The Royal Spanish Football Federation ended up opening an investigation into his companies, which they just closed because there's obviously nothing there. This was just a scare tactic. And there's been death threats, not only against him, but against his family, against his kids, against his wife. Like total insanity. And, this is what Real Madrid does. I mean, this is a clear message by Real Madrid to the refs. You either get in line or you suffer big repercussions. In other words, stop making the right calls against us that can hurt us. But Hansi Flick decided to address this, and I'm glad that he did, because this needs to be said, and every coach needs to come out and say something. Every club president needs to come out and say something. Every person in power needs to come out and say something, because what's going on, it's not okay. You can think that the ref is bad. I do it all the time. I've been screaming on this channel how horrible Spanish referees are, how mediocre they are, how incompetent they are. But one thing is to think a ref is bad. Another thing is to deliberately accuse them of manipulating the league, of being corrupt, of threatening to kill them, their wife and their kids. Like, can you imagine how mentally ill, how mentally sick in the head you have to be to threaten a referee and his family with death because they ruled against your team? Like, you have to be, that's a new level of stupid. I mean, that's a perfect example of a Neanderthal that never evolved. It's like going to a restaurant and your waiter gets your order wrong, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill your wife, I'm gonna kill your kids for getting my order wrong. It's like new level of idiocy. But that's what Real Madrid has caused. 2 years of campaigning on Real Madrid TV, video after video after video, claiming to be victims, claiming that the referees have always been against them. The referees always ruling against them on purpose. The referees are always trying to take away trophies from them and cause them to lose. what they've done, they've radicalized their fan base, because now their fan base is just thinking everybody's against us, the refs are against us, everybody hates us. And this is what you get when you radicalize your fan base. This is what you get: a fan base that threatens others with death because they don't like over fucking football, which has zero impact on your life. Whether your team wins or loses, that has zero impact on your life. It's not going to affect how much money you make at work. It's not going to affect, whether you get to pay your bills that day or whether it has zero impact on your life. And yet, these morons, these idiots, threaten the referee with death over fucking football. But anyways, this is what Hansi Flick had to say about the whole situation during his pre-match press conference. Come on, there we go. In this competition, it is also important to think about the referees and their families. We all make mistakes. The responsibility of the players and coaches is to protect them. I don't like what is happening. The referees make their decision, but they have the VAR. You have to trust the referees, and the federation has to show them support. They have to be protected. We have to change. We always try to find excuses. Are you listening, Real Madrid? We always try to find excuses. If we lose, it's the referee's fault. Are you listening, Ancelotti? But it's not like that. We all make mistakes. They can make mistakes too. But we have to protect them. We can't play without referees. We have to protect them, and maybe we have to play better to be able to win. Are you listening, Ancelotti? Are you listening, Real Madrid? You have to play better to win. Stop using the referees as an excuse, because you've been playing like absolute dog shit all season. Madrid have been playing like dog shit, absolute all season. This is why this is why Barcelona scored 4 goals against you in your own stadium in La Liga. That's why Barcelona scored 5 goals against you in the Spanish Super Cup and still beat you in the final despite being a man down for almost the entire second half, because you've been playing like absolute dog shit. Stop using the referees as an excuse. Look inwards, realize that you're playing like shit, find a way to stop playing like shit, and then the referees are not going to matter. So, Ancelotti, please, for fuck's sake, listen to what Flick is saying and follow his advice to stop worrying about the referees and start worrying about your performance, because your performance has been absolute dog shit. Now, Flick also talking about, mistakes and protect the referees. Again, as I said at the beginning of this, look, our referees shit in La Liga? Absolutely. I've been saying it a million times. They're mediocre. They're incompetent. They're not well trained. They don't know how to interpret the rules. You can have the same exact foul and have 10 different outcomes. And La Liga needs to do something about retraining these referees, maybe improving the hiring process. Maybe they're just hiring the wrong people. I don't know. But La Liga needs to do a deep dive, a deep study of what's going on with these refs, figure out what the problems are, and fix them, because refereeing in Spain is dog shit. But again, one thing is to think that referees are bad. A whole nother thing is to act like Real Madrid, like total hooligans, and threaten these referees with death, accusing them of purposely manipulating La Liga, and just do this whole campaign to act like a victim. And that's not right. And I'm glad that Flick spoke out. I hope more people speak out. And I hope La Liga and the Royal Spanish Football Federation finally have the balls to say something, because what Real Madrid are doing are destroying this competition. Simple as that. Because if you're constantly saying that this competition is corrupt, that this competition is manipulated, you're throwing everything to the garbage. Because if this La Liga is corrupt, as the Madrid is claiming, that means everything else is corrupt. It means that this La Liga is up for sale, and whoever wins that season is the highest bidder. So that not only affects other clubs, it affects them too, because it means everything they won in this league, it was bought, because that's how La Liga works, right? According to them. And this, by the way, goes to Barcelona fans too, because I see it all the time here in the chat section. I see it in the comment section all the time. Barcelona fans, oh, this league is corrupt. Do you understand the implications when you say that this league is corrupt? Do you? Because it doesn't seem like you do. Because again, if you're saying this league is corrupt, that means it's up for sale, and whoever wins it is the highest bidder. And that includes all the trophies that Barcelona won. So if you truly think that this league is corrupt, you're also saying that everything that Barcelona won was because they paid for it, not just what Real Madrid. So this is not just against Real Madrid fans. This is also against all the Barca fans who like to cry day and night about referees. Oh, this is corrupt. This is corrupt. Then why the fuck are you watching? Why would you watch a league where the outcome is predetermined, where the outcome is given to the highest bidder. It makes no fucking sense to me. Stop crying that this league is corrupt. Is there problems with this league? Absolutely. Are the refs dog shit? Absolutely. Does Madrid always do their best to pressure the referees? Absolutely. But does it mean that it's corrupt and it's up for sale? No. If I thought that, I would not bother watching it. Why the hell would I watch something where the outcome is already predetermined before the season even begins? Why? It makes no sense to me. It's like watching WWE, which, by the way, I'm sorry if anyone watches WWE, but ever since I was a kid, I was 3-4 years old, I always thought it was stupid, but I don't know. Anyways, that is my rant. I know it went way longer than I anticipated. Let's do the comment section. And then we're going to talk about Leao. Dr. Watson says a final of the Champions League against Real Madrid would be the best final ever. Can you imagine? I think the best scenario is we already beat Real Madrid in the Spanish Super Cup final and won it, right? It'd be awesome if we get them in the final of the Copa del Rey, beat them, and win it. It'd be awesome if Barcelona then stayed tied points with Real Madrid all the way until the second Clásico match, and then we beat them and win La Liga. And then it'd be awesome if we get Real Madrid in the final in the Champions League and we beat them and we win that. Can you imagine a treble won by beating Real Madrid? How many times would that be? Twice in La Liga, one in the Copa del Rey if it's in the final, one in the final of the Champions League, and the Spanish Super Cup. That would be 5 victories over Real Madrid in one season and 4 trophies thanks to them. That'd be amazing. But of course, let's take it one step at a time. It's like people who are like, oh, do you think we could win the treble? I'm like, yo, chill. It's our first year under Flick. Let's calm down. Let's take it one step at a time. Treble is too much to ask of even the top teams who are fully developed and have the biggest stars and have been playing together for years. It's definitely a lot to ask of a team that's just starting, and that besides Lamine Yamal, we don't really have like a huge star, and Lamine is only 17 years old. RB says, hey, Mo, good to see you again. Since Barca has problem with these low block teams, do you think the draw was good? Again, on paper, Benfica is easier than PSG, but again, it's still going to be a difficult tie because we saw what happened during the group stages. And Mark says, I also like how we play a lot more different teams, but funnily enough, we could make it all the way to the final, only replaying teams without big upsets. That's true. We might end up playing, we are going to play against Benfica, but in the quarterfinals, if Dortmund advanced, then, it's the same team we played. And then if Bayern advances on the other side, it would be the same 3 teams that we played against in the group stages. Or maybe not. Maybe Dortmund get eliminated at the hands of Lille. Now it's another opponent. Maybe on the other side, it's Bayer Leverkusen on Inter Milan. Did we play against Inter Milan? We didn't play against Inter Milan, right? So, again, we've already played more than as many opponents that we would play from start to finish in the old format, right? In the old format, you played against 7 different opponents from group stages to final. We already played against 8. And the knockout stages just started. So I really like the new format. I just hate that there's 2 extra matches. And if you go to playoffs, it's technically 4 extra matches because these players are already playing way too much. But hey, as far as the playoffs, I'm all for it this season because Barcelona got to rest 2 weeks while other teams got to play, including Benfica, 2 extra matches. Man says maybe because Barcelona is playing on Wednesday, if Madrid is playing on Tuesday, it makes sense for that change. And Mike Valencia says, Mo, I really like this bracket. Barca can work the way up to potential deep run instead of starting with PSG. I have big hopes after the bracket. Yeah, true. Again, on paper, Benfica is the easier opponent, but it's not going to be easy. I would have liked PSG, to be honest, even though they're the more difficult because, I think 2 matches against PSG would be one hell of a spectacle, especially under Luis Enrique, how they're playing. I mean, they have scary wingers. They have Kvaratskhelia on one side, and they have Dembélé on the other side, who's finally, after a million years, has decided to, let's play football. So I think that would have been one hell of a matchup. I think there would have been 2 exciting matches. Plus, if we beat them, and I don't want the easy road. I know that sounds stupid, like let's just win the trophy and fuck it. But I want the hard road. I want to be able to say, we won that Champions League and we won it by defeating the best, by defeating PSG and Liverpool and Madrid and Bayern. I want to say we beat the best from every single country in order to win it. Now, of course, if we win it, it doesn't matter. We're still going to be happy winning it, but I'll take it either way. Anyways, let's get back to the news because, ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona now know the official price for Rafael Leao. Now, if you don't know by what is going on? What is going on? If you don't know by now, after AC Milan's elimination out of the Champions League, they have decided that they need to completely change their team. They need to restructure their team, and they want to keep Joao Felix. Why? I don't fucking know. But anyways, they want to keep Joao Felix. Joao Felix, of course, is on loan from Chelsea. They want to sign him on a permanent transfer at the end of the season. They want to restructure their team. And part of this restructuring is getting rid of players that, well, they don't like Theo Hernandez and Rafael Leao. And plus, by getting rid of them, they would generate the cash to sign Joao Felix and to sign other players because, again, they want to restructure their whole squad after their elimination out of the Champions League. Now, Leao is on the exit door. AC Milan want to sell him during this summer transfer market, and they have officially set a price for the Portuguese attacker. Now, Leao has a 175 million euro release clause. His market value sits at 120 million euros. However, AC Milan will consider any offers 80 million plus. So if you bring to the table at least 80 million euros, you have a chance of taking Rafael Leao home. Now, of course, this is much cheaper than 175. That's more than half. Much cheaper than his market value of 120. That's 40 million euros less. But it's still a lot of money for Barcelona. Now, Leao is still, of course, Laporta's favorite option as far as bringing someone to the club. Deco's favorite option is Luis Diaz. And my question to you is, would you pay 80 million for Leao? Now, Jorge Mendes kind of acts like a representative for Leao. He's not really his representative, but he acts kind of like a third party. So that's a plus. So maybe Mendes could negotiate a little bit of a better deal, maybe 70, 75 instead of 80. But again, the question for you is, would you sign Leao for 80 million? Maybe 75, 70 if Mendes can help us out? Let me know in the chat section or let me know in the comment section if you're watching this, once it ends. All right, let's get back to the chat section, and then we will talk about Mason Greenwood because he is back in the equation. He was in the equation during last summer, and now he's back in the equation again. Mike Valencia says, oh, wait, I read this. Marcus says, hey, Mo, following the cold city of Fargo, North Dakota, it was today that I actually believe that ESPN hosts are all Real Madrid. They're all talking about Real Madrid is the favorite to win the Champions League. I got to say, it took you a while, bro, because ESPN hosts are always, I mean, literally, as soon as the Real Madrid match ended against Osasuna, they went overdrive, trying to justify what Bellingham said. They were the first ones to start arguing that fuck off in England is not a bad thing. Because the ref wrote in the report that Bellingham told him, fuck you. Bellingham said, I didn't say that. I said, fuck off. And they were like, immediately, they're like, oh, fuck off. Yeah, had he said fuck you? Yeah, absolutely. He deserves the red card. But no, he said fuck off. That's okay. Are you fucking kidding me? Since when fuck off is not a big deal? Since when? You tell anyone to fuck off, they're going to punch you in the face. And what they're forgetting is that as a football player, you're still a professional. That's still your job. And being a professional who's doing his job, doesn't matter how bad or not bad fuck off is. You don't say that. You don't go to your job at your office or restaurant or whatever and tell your boss to fuck off. You get fired. Same thing. Why does Bellingham think that he can say that to the refs? He is at a workplace. Have some respect for your colleagues because refs are the colleagues of the players. Other teammates are your colleagues. The players on the opposing team are your colleagues. You all play in the same professional atmosphere. Why do you think it's okay to berate a referee? Which is, by the way, not the first time. He's been doing that this whole entire season. So instead of having a debate on whether fuck off is better than fuck you, we should be having a debate on why the fuck has Bellingham not received more red cards. Just the match before that, we heard him clearly. He got caught by one of the mics. Him saying not just fuck off. He told the ref, fuck off, fuck you, and you're a piece of shit. He said those three things. So the debate should not be on whether fuck off is better than fuck you. The debate should be is why the hell is Bellingham not receiving more red cards for berating the referees? And obviously the answer is clear because the color of his jersey. But I mean, ESPN FC are the biggest clowns. Clowns. Shelton says, "What is the new plan for being Leao? For being Leao on our team, or bring Leao on our team? I think signing Leao will be a big boost for Barcelona fans next season. I mean, the plan would be to try to negotiate something lower by using Jorge Mendes. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not fully sold on Leao. When they were talking about bringing Leao in the winter on a loan, I was like, all right, let's do it, because that's like a low risk situation where if it works out, great, boom, it worked out. He's just on loan, and if he doesn't, who cares? He's just on loan. But 80 million euros on Leao, I don't know, man. And not to put his skills into doubt, because as I've said before, I think Leao is one of the most talented wingers in the world. He has speed, physicality, dribbling, shot, power. I mean, he's a beast. He's a effing beast. The problem is, he's very inconsistent. He's very, very inconsistent. You know, when he's on some matches, he's like just demolishing opponents, just doing whatever the hell he wants, scoring goals, dribbling past everyone. In other matches, it's like, is Leao even on the field? And that's a problem for me. And spending on 80 million euros on a player that's not going to be consistent, that's a big problem for me. I mean, if he comes for free, sure, yeah, whatever. Even if he gives you half of his matches good, hey, half good is great. But for 80 million, no, he better give you like most of the matches being good. So I don't know. I think it's a lot of money. Not the Gamer says, I would love to see a campaign for a new La Liga president where the slogan is Madrify La Liga. Yeah, I wish. SA says Real Madrid is just a drama show at this point. Even I feel ashamed. Chaos vibes like a graveyard, another graveyard. It's after we visit them. Yeah, I mean, look, they know they're playing like dog shit. They know they're barely scraping by every match. They're like Barca last season under Xavi, where every match was a struggle. Yes, we were winning, but every win was like, I don't know how the hell we won. We barely survived. And Real Madrid and instead of, figuring out like, hey, what's going on? Let's improve how we play. No, let's blame the refs. Let's blame Barcelona. Let's blame Negreira, who hasn't been active since 2018. I mean, it's just pathetic. It's just pathetic. But anyways, let's do the last bit of news and then we'll do more comments, I promise. But let's talk about Mason Greenwood, because, ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona have inquired about the 23-year-old attacker. Now, as you know, Barcelona are in the market trying to look for attackers to reinforce the wings. Most importantly, the left wing, of course. But it wouldn't hurt to reinforce the right wing too. Someone that can play with Lamine, even though that's not really a priority because Ferran could technically play there. But the left wing remains a priority. There's also, of course, the whole center forward, someone that can play alongside Lewandowski, can substitute with him. And of course, Barcelona are, scanning the entire market, seeing what's out there, what's available, who can come to Barca. And one of the players they decided to inquire about was Mason Greenwood, the 23-year-old attacker who mostly plays on the right wing, but can also play on the left wing. He can even play as a center forward. So he's currently on loan. Is it on loan, or I think it's a permanent transfer? I think it's a permanent transfer to Marseille, but Manchester United still own 50% of his rights. And he's been actually doing really well in the Ligue 1. He's one of the most prolific attackers in the Ligue 1. He started out really strong at Manchester United. Then he had the whole incident with his arrest and his criminal case that kind of derailed his career a little bit. He was kind of exiled to Getafe to try to regain his form. It helped a lot for him to, get refocused on football, start rebuilding his career. Made the move to Marseille, and now in Marseille, he's once again living up to his potential. So, of course, Barcelona was like, it doesn't hurt to ask. Let's see what his contract situation is. Let's see if he's a possibility. And Marseille have quoted Barcelona 75 million euros for Mason Greenwood. So Barcelona want to sign him. I'm not saying they want to or they will. Again, they're just scanning the market, seeing what's out there, calling, hey, what about this guy? What about that guy? And again, Mason Greenwood was one of those inquiries. And Marseille want a minimum of 75 million euros for any club who want to sign Mason Greenwood, who during this season so far has scored 15 goals and provided 4 assists in 24 matches. That's some pretty impressive numbers, if you ask me. Now, why 75 million euros when Mason Greenwood's market value is only 35? That's because Manchester United own 50% of the rights of the player. So, of course, Marseille want to make sure they make a good cut, because if they only sold them for 30, 35, they would only get half of that. So they rather sell them for 75 and get half of that, which to me, it's ridiculous. So that's his market value. That's his market value. Just because I co-own a $10,000 car with someone doesn't mean I'm going to sell it for 20 so I can get my 10, but the car is only worth 10. Anyways, but that's the price that Marseille are asking for. I really highly doubt that Barcelona are going to pay that. But of course, I do want to ask you guys, would you pay 75 million euros for Mason Greenwood? Let me know in the chat section or in the comment section if you're watching this when it ends. All right, let's get back to the chat section and see what everyone is saying. John Williams says, hey, Mo, I really do appreciate what you do. The price you pay always keeps us updated with authentic Barca news. Meanwhile, Barca should get a younger left winger instead of an older left winger like Luis Diaz. Thank you, my friend, for watching, and thank you for your comment. And yes, I mean, a younger left winger would be nice. But Deco really likes Luis Diaz, which he is in his prime. So it's not like he's coming at 32 years old. He's 28. If he does come to Barca, he could give us like a good 5-6 years. Of course, someone who's in 23 can give us 10 years, but his age is not necessarily a big problem. Is getting someone younger better? Of course. But I mean, 28, it's still a pretty good age. I mean, that's how old Rafinha is. If he was 32, like when there were talks about bringing Kimmich, because Xabi wanted Kimmich. And I'm like, all right, hold on. Kimmich is 32, 33. Now we're talking about a player, entering the final phase of his career. Luis Diaz, he still has a few more years. All right, let's see. Kurt says, Madrid realized they can't win La Liga, so they are trying to instill fear on the referees when in fact they are playing shit and want the league to be shit. Yeah, I mean, that's part of the whole being a pathetic club, like I call them, because they know they're not playing good, so they just want to find excuses, and that was my problem last season with Xabi, right? Xabi had a million excuses for every bad performance, and when I criticize them, people are like, oh, you're a hater, you're toxic, blah blah blah. But you have no problem saying that Madrid are being crybabies and finding excuses. We have to be fair with both sides. Just because you're a Barca fan doesn't mean you overlook that kind of stuff. You just point at others, kind of like the whole glass house saying. Ola says, Mo, is Madrid the owner of La Liga? I mean, why does everyone has to suffer because things don't go their way? It sucks. They just have a lot of power. Madrid is the center of power in Spain. I'm talking about the city. And you're talking about Real Madrid, who are located in the center of power of Spain. They've always been the regime's club. Florentino's an incredibly powerful man in Spain, not in football, in Spain. He has a lot of power. So, anyways. Klaus says, I also wanted PSG. Klaus, my friend, it's always good to see you in the chat section. And Suleiman says, hey, Mo, you should have seen ESPN. All of a sudden, Real Madrid is the only team in the Champions League, as they had a whole episode talking about Champions League draw. Yeah, man, it's ESPN, man. Biggest clowns in the world. Biggest clowns in the world. Alimani says, hi, Mo. I'm from Sierra Leone. I am very happy. Look at this live stream. Thanks for all the messages you are giving to us. You are a true Colette. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much for watching and for your comment. And Paul says, let's not forget the implications of winning Champions League from a financial standpoint, newer sponsorship, further visibility of the club from new fans, and the money Barca gets for winning Champions League. 100% agree, my friend. Thank you for bringing that point up. I mean, if we win in Champions League, obviously, now we make a lot more money because with every win, you make money. Plus, there's bonuses to make to certain stages, and then the bonus of winning the final. Would make a crap load of money, which would be a huge boost financially for the club. We would exceed what the forecast was for this season, as far as financially speaking. Plus, again, I'm sure we get new sponsors, which is more money. Maybe the current sponsors, if there's clauses in the contract, they would have to pay extra bonuses for winning the Champions League. So that's more money from our current sponsors. Of course, going all the way to the final Champions League, it's also more matches. So that's more ticketing sales in our stadiums, more winning the Champions League. Obviously, just got to create a frenzy with people buying jersey, merchandise. So that's more money from merchandise sales. I mean, it's just a snowball effect. So yes, 100%, my friend, 100%. Mike says, yeah, Craig Burley's disgusting. He defended Jude like his job depended on it. All of ESPN crew are disgusting, by the way, both in Spanish and English, because I watch them both. The transmissions, but sometimes I watch in Spanish. They're all just as stupid as they're all competing on who's the stupidest person, and they all compete on who can say the stupidest things. It's like they have a bet. Hey man, like I said something stupid, and some other guys like hold my beer. Let me say something even dumber. That's ESPN FC in a nutshell. Raul says, stop this. Trust La Masia. Bullshit. Tell me if all players in Pep's Barca were all from La Masia. I'll wait. I'm sure Suarez. Suarez didn't play for Pep. And there was one time, but I don't think it was under Pep. I think it was under Tito Villanova, where Barcelona fielded 11 academy players. But no, you're right. You cannot just depend on La Masia, because you need a mix of experiences, right? It's good to have youngsters who have a lot of energy and motivation and fire in them, but you also need experienced players, because as much as energy and fire and intensity these youngsters have, they lack the experience. So that's why they make the dumb mistakes, right? Like Fermin getting red carded. Casado, as great he's been, I remember that one goal where he was at the edge of the box and he intercepts a pass with his heel and pretty much sets it up. Was that at the Benfica match? I think it was a Benfica match. These are kind of mistakes that players have to make in order to learn from them. So if all your team are youngsters and they're all making mistakes that they're going to learn from them, that's great that they're learning from the mistakes, but you're also going to suffer a lot because that's a lot of mistakes. So you need the young players who have the energy and intensity but lack the experience, and you have to balance it with players who are older, who, yes, they might not have as much energy or intensity, but they have the experience and they don't make those mistakes, and they can guide the youngsters on how to learn in order to avoid mistakes or learn from their mistakes once they're done. And then you need players in the middle who are in their prime, who have both. Who have the experience because they've been playing for a while, but they still have the energy because they're still not, they're not older. So you need a balance. So you can't just depend on academy kids, because then you just have a bunch of players who are inexperienced, as good as they might be. I mean, look at Lamine, right? To me right now, he's the best in the world, but look how many mistakes he makes. And that's not because he sucks or he lacks the skills. He just lacks the experience, right? Sometimes he shoots when he should have passed. Sometimes he passes when he should have shot. That's just a matter of lack of experience, not a skill. So you have 11 players like that who, as good as they might be, but they still lack the experience. There's going to be a lot of mistakes, and, mistakes are costly in football. Ola says, hey, Mo, I think Mason Greenwood will make a lot of sense considering his age and cost. Interesting. And Kina says, I would love it if we get Nico this summer and Isaac. I know it's unlikely. No, Isaac is not going to happen. They won 120 million for him. It's almost impossible. Kurt says, how can you be a professional football player and be cursing the ref? I should have been the ref. 5 red cards he was getting. Hey, if I was the ref, I would break his jaw and then I would give him a red card, because you don't talk to people like that. Klaus says, the majority of Pep squad was La Masia and was the core of national team. Yeah, they were. I mean, of course, there was also exterior signings like Thierry Henry or like Villa. But yeah, the core was, or Eto'o. But yeah, the core was academy players. And God rules everything. Says we need experienced players like Rafael Leao on the left side of our wing. Again, I really, really like Leao, but he's just inconsistent, man. And that's a big problem. As skilled as you can be, if you just cannot maintain that, then it's a problem. Anyways, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching the podcast, for your comments, for your likes, for your subscriptions. If you haven't hit the like button yet, make sure you do. It's a huge, huge help. It helps the channel continue to grow. If you haven't subscribed yet, also make sure you do. It's completely free. It all it takes is a second. I will be uploading another video because there is more news to cover, so stay tuned to the channel. I will see you guys in that video, and as always, Visca Barça.